Imagine this. You're sitting alone one night, the world quiet, maybe there's a soft light in the room, and suddenly that small, familiar question drifts through your mind. Why me? Why was I born in this body, in this family, in this life? It's a question that doesn't shout. It just whispers somewhere deep inside us. Maybe you felt it too, when things didn't make sense, or even when life looked good but still felt strangely empty. We don't always say out loud, but it stays there, waiting for a moment of stillness to rise again. And if that question has ever touched you, maybe this is a good place to stay for a while. If you enjoy gentle talks that help you look within, you can subscribe. It's a way of staying connected as we walk through these questions together. You know, as kids, we don't ask much about why we're here. We just are. But somewhere along the way, maybe after a heartbreak or a loss or a quiet moment in the middle of success, something inside starts wondering. A boy with a weak body might look at others running free and think, why was I born like this? A girl born into struggle might ask, why did life start this way for me? And sometimes, even people with money, with good health, wake up one day and feel an ache that has no name. It's like the soul asking quietly, why this life? Why this story? Some people say it's all just luck. We roll the dice and get what we get. Others say it's genetics, written in the code of our parents. And then some say maybe a higher power decided for us who we'd be, what face we'd have, where we'd start. But deep down, none of those answers really touch the heart of the question. Because the question isn't only about science or faith, it's about meaning. It's about what makes this life, this body mine. It's that strange sense that even though I didn't choose it, I'm somehow meant to live it. And maybe that's what makes it so mysterious. We didn't choose our height, our voice, our family, or even the time we were born into. Yet here we are, breathing, feeling, trying to make sense of it all. Long ago, people in every culture asked the same question. Some believed life was chaos. Others believed it was destiny. But one quiet voice, the Buddhas, offered something softer, something closer to our own experience. He didn't give some big mystical answer. He simply pointed to something we can all see if we're honest, the connection between what we do and what we become. He said something that changed the way many people looked at life. We are the owners of our actions, the heirs of our actions. We come from them. We are connected to them, and they are our refuge. It sounds serious, but it's not meant to scare. It's meant to remind us that every little thing we think, say, and do leaves a mark, not a punishment, not a reward, just a trace, a quiet echo that shapes what comes next. And when you really sit with that, it's both humbling and freeing, because it means that even though we didn't choose how our story began, we can choose how it continues. Think of it this way. A tree doesn't just appear out of nowhere. It grows from a seed that fell long ago, and the fruit it bears depends on the seed that was planted. The life we live now is like that fruit. Maybe the seed was planted years ago, maybe lifetimes ago. We can't remember, and that's okay. But we can feel that there's something behind what we are, some quiet history written in the soul. Just because we don't remember doesn't mean it isn't there. The tree doesn't remember the hand that planted it either, but it still grows because of that hand. And that's where the question, why me, starts to change. Maybe it's not meant to make us feel guilty or unlucky. Maybe it's there to open us, to remind us that life is not an accident, not a punishment, and not a gift handed out randomly. It's part of a long story, one that's still being written through our choices right now. The Buddha didn't say we're trapped by the past. He said we're part of the unfolding, like the river that flows. Yes, it's shaped by what's behind it, but it's also moving freely toward what's ahead. So when you look at your life, your face in the mirror, your story with all its light and shadow, try not to judge it too quickly. Maybe this body, this moment, is exactly where you need to be to learn something the soul's been waiting to understand. You don't have to force an answer. You just have to stay curious, stay kind, and keep walking. And if this quiet kind of reflection speaks to you, I'd love to have you here. You can subscribe, not out of habit, but to keep a little corner of peace in your week. Because sometimes all we need is a gentle reminder that even if we don't know why we were born like this, it's okay. What matters most is how we live it now. Maybe you've wondered, if our lives are shaped by things we don't remember, why can't we see it? Why don't we remember those seeds being planted long ago? And it's okay to ask that. It's natural. Memory is only the surface, like a candle flickering in the dark. But underneath, there's a quiet current, flowing, moving, shaping life in ways we can't always notice. The Buddha described a mind not as a fixed little person inside, sitting there with a file cabinet of all our memories, but more like a river or a flame lighting another flame. One life flows into the next, not as the exact same person jumping from body to body, but as a continuation of energy, of cause and effect. You might think of it like a wave rolling onto the shore. The wave changes, but it's still water from the same ocean. And maybe you can imagine this with a story. Picture someone born with a strong fear of loss. Maybe in this life, they can't remember it, but long ago, perhaps they faced betrayal or neglect or had chances to love and hold back, and the habit of guarding the heart became part of their stream. That fear is just a seed showing itself now. Or imagine a child who seems naturally drawn to kindness, always noticing others' feelings, maybe even strangers. That too is a seed, an echo from choices made long ago, from intentions planted and nurtured, even if forgotten. These seeds aren't good or bad. They just are. Some grow quickly, some slowly, some barely break through the soil. And here's something gentle to hold on to. Even if we can't see the past, we can feel its effects. You might notice patterns in your life that don't seem to come from this moment. Habits, likes, dislikes, fears, or dreams. That's the current moving. But, and this is important, you are not powerless. You are not carried along like driftwood. You may not control all the waves, but you can paddle, steer, plant new seeds. Even the tiniest choice, a kind word, a quiet patience, a decision to forgive, shifts the current in ways that matter, even if the results aren't immediate. It's also okay to just sit with the mystery. You don't have to have it all figured out. You don't need to trace every cause and effect. Maybe this life, this body, this moment, is here for something you can only understand as you move forward. The Buddhist teaching isn't about guilt or blame. It's about curiosity, care, and awareness. And maybe that's all we need at first, to notice, to be gentle with ourselves, and to see that even the invisible threads of the past are not there to punish us. They're just there. And now, with each breath, with each step, we get to decide how to weave the next part of the story. So, if you feel like your life is more than what you see, if you feel drawn to understand the quiet movements that brought you here, maybe stick around. There's a lot more to explore together in these whispered moments. And if you haven't yet, subscribing is a way to come back to these reflections, to give yourself a gentle pause in your week, a place where it's okay to wonder and to be human. Maybe you've caught yourself thinking, if so much of my life comes from what I can't remember, am I just drifting along? Do I even have a choice? And it's okay to feel that way. It's natural to worry that past actions, whether from this life or before, have locked you into a story you didn't write. But here's something soft to hold on to. The Buddha didn't say karma is fate. He didn't say we're puppets tied to invisible strings. Karma is more like a current in a river. You can't control the whole river, but you can steer your little boat. You can choose where to dip your paddle, how to move. Think of it in a small, simple way. A woman born into hardship may feel trapped by circumstance, by what she didn't choose. But if she pauses, even for a breath, she could decide to speak gently to her children, to care for herself, to offer a smile to someone hurting. Those are tiny seeds, soft acts of choice. They might not change everything today, but they ripple outward, and over time, they shape the river in ways that matter. Or imagine someone born with comfort, with ease, who assumes life will always flow gently. Yet if their heart is ruled by impatience or pride, they too are planting seeds, just different ones. Karma isn't punishment. It isn't reward. It's a gentle, quiet law of cause and effect, moving through every choice we make. And maybe the most tender part is this. Even if you feel weighed down by patterns, by fears, by habits that seem unshakable, there is freedom here. You may not be able to erase the past, and that's okay. But the present, this moment, is always open. What you think, what you say, what you do, each one is a new seed. Even if it grows slowly, even if it takes time to bear fruit, it's real. Every act of kindness, patience, or honesty counts. Every moment you choose to breathe, to notice, to be gentle with yourself and others, you're shaping a future that matters. It may feel small. It may feel invisible. And that's okay. Like a soft flame in a quiet room. It doesn't need to blaze immediately. What matters is that it's there and you are tending it. You are not defined by the seeds of the past alone. You are the gardener now. And maybe that's a secret the Buddha quietly shared. Life isn't something done to us. Life is something we participate in, moment by moment, breath by breath. If you feel that whisper curiosity, that quiet urge to see how your choices matter, maybe stay with it. And if you haven't yet, subscribing is just a gentle way to come back, to sit in these reflections together. And remember, even in the smallest acts, freedom begins. Maybe you've noticed how different life feels for different people. Some are born healthy, some sick, some grow up in quiet homes, others in noise and fear. Some seem to learn easily, while others struggle for years. And you might have asked yourself softly, almost in a whisper, why me? Why them? It's okay to wonder. The Buddha didn't say we should blame, or feel unlucky, or think life is unfair. He offered something simpler, something softer. Life is shaped by patterns of action, by what we've done before, and what we continue to do now. Not as punishment, not as reward, but as natural unfolding. You can imagine it like a garden. Each choice we make, each thought, each act, plants a seed. Some seed grow quickly, some slowly, some seem hidden, waiting for the right conditions. A small act of patience might grow into a deep well of calm over time. A harsh word might sprout as tension later, in ways we don't even notice. And over lifetimes, these seeds build a kind of blueprint, a gentle pattern that shapes what we become, the body we are born into, the mind we carry, the tendencies we notice in ourselves. It's not exact, it's not a ledger, it's more like resonance, a quiet echo that returns in ways subtle and soft. Think about it with a story. Two children are born in the same town, same day. One grows up with ease, charm, and curiosity. The other struggles with illness and fears. It's not because one is better or worse. Maybe the first child's past choices nurture resilience and openness. Maybe the second's carried seeds that require careful tending. And still, both are alive now. both can plant new seeds today. Life isn't frozen. Your story isn't fully written. And it isn't only individual. Communities, families, even nations carry patterns of choices. Imagine a village where people care for one another, share freely, and practice patience. Life there tend to flow with ease. Or imagine a place weighed down by fear, cruelty, or neglect. The air feels heavy. Challenges multiply. That's collective resonance, gently echoing across the lives of many. And when we understand this, something soft begins to settle. The urge to compare, to envy, to blame slowly fades. We see that life is a result of countless causes, layered and intertwined, and that each of us carries both light and shadow. Maybe the most tender insight here is this. Your life, this body, your story, is unique. It carries both the traces of what came before and the seeds you are planting now. You are not trapped. You are not merely a reflection of the past. You are a gardener here and now with the ability to plant kindness, patience, and awareness. It may feel quiet, even invisible at first, but these are the seeds that can grow into something meaningful. And if this soft reflection speaks to you, if it stirs even a gentle curiosity, maybe stick around. Subscribe, not for obligation, but as a way to keep returning to this quiet corner where we can think, breathe, and wonder together. Because the more we notice, the more we tend our garden, and the more we see how precious this life truly is. Maybe you've sat quietly and felt the weight of life, the joys, the pain, the little ordinary moments that seem to pass without meaning. And sometimes in those quiet spaces, the question returns, what is all of this for? This body, this life, with its struggles and its fleeting joys, does it have a purpose, or are we just drifting along, carried by currents we cannot see? And it's okay to ask. It's okay to not have an answer right away. The Buddha whispered something gentle here. Human life is rare, not in the sense of winning a prize, but in the sense that it's balanced. We are not lost in instinct like animals. We are not overwhelmed by endless bliss or suffering like other beings might be. We are in a middle place, a place soft enough to feel, aware enough to reflect. And in that middle ground, transformation becomes possible. We can notice our suffering and its causes. We can choose. We can grow. That is what makes this life precious. Not status, not wealth, not intelligence, but the chance to wake up, to see clearly, to free the heart from fear, craving, and confusion. Imagine a simple story. A young woman walks to the market each morning. She notices a neighbor struggling with groceries. She stops, offers a hand. Perhaps it's small. Perhaps no one notices. But in that moment, a seed is planted, a seed of kindness, of awareness, of care. And that seed may ripple outward in ways she'll never see. It's not about earning a reward or avoiding punishment. It's about participating in the unfolding of life, in the quiet, gentle shaping of what comes next. And here's the thing. Freedom doesn't mean you control everything. It doesn't mean life becomes easy. It means you notice. It means you recognize that each intention, each small choice matters. Hatred, impatience, greed, they don't just affect others. They poison the one who holds them. Kindness, patience, generosity, they nourish the one who gives, as well as the one who receives. That's why this moment, right now, matters. So maybe you can whisper to yourself, it's okay if you don't know everything. It's okay if the past is mysterious. What matters is that here and now, you can plant seeds of understanding, compassion, and care. And if you want a gentle reminder to return to this space, to sit quietly with these thoughts, subscribing is a soft way to keep coming back. It's not about following rules. It's about giving yourself permission to pause, reflect, and notice that even in the ordinary, The sacred is quietly unfolding. Maybe you've noticed how life feels like a mixture, light and shadow, ease and struggle, joy and quiet pain. And sometimes it's easy to think that all of this is just luck or misfortune or fate. But the Buddha quietly suggests another way to see it. Life is shaped by actions, by intentions, by the seeds we plant over time, some in this life, some long before. And that means even if things feel heavy, even if the past feels unchangeable, there is still a gentle freedom here in the present. Think about it like this. A man who grew up in hardship may carry patterns of fear, hesitation, or self-doubt. Maybe he tries to act differently, but old habits keep surfacing. That's okay. Karma isn't about judgment. It's like a garden where some seeds take longer to sprout. But here's the tender part. Every day, every choice is sunlight, rain, or gentle tending for those seeds. A kind word, a soft patience, a decision to notice instead of react. These are all small, meaningful acts that shift the garden slowly, quietly toward growth. And even if the results take time, even if they seem invisible, they are shaping the life to come. Or imagine a child born with comfort and ease. They might think life is supposed to feel simple. But even then, patterns can grow, impatience, arrogance, distraction. Yet they too have the power to plant new seeds. The present moment doesn't care about the past. It offers a chance to pause, to choose gently, to act with care. It's not magic. It's not fast. It's quiet. But it works. Maybe you can see this in yourself. Habits, fears, inclinations. Some feel foreign. Some feel familiar. And it's okay. You don't need to force understanding. You don't need to remember all the lifetimes of seeds. You just need to notice, to breathe, to be present. And in those small choices, freedom begins. Not a loud, sudden freedom, but a soft one, like a candle flame flickering steadily in a quiet room. And perhaps the most comforting thought is this. Even if your life feels messy, even if the past seems heavy, you are not trapped. You are the gardener now. Each act, each word, each thought is a new seed, and you get to choose which ones to nurture. It may be small, it may be soft, but it matters. Maybe you felt it, the quiet tug inside, that sense that life isn't just happening to you, but through you. It's subtle, almost like a whisper in your chest. You wake up, and small things shape your day. A word said, a glance noticed, a choice made. And the Buddha would say, gently, that these small things matter more than we often realize. Every intention, every act, even the ones that seem tiny or invisible, plant seeds. Seeds that grow quietly, shaping who we are, how we feel, and what the next moment brings. Imagine someone who has faced a lot of struggle, maybe loss, illness, or loneliness. They might feel the weight of life pressing down. And yet, even in that heaviness, there are moments where freedom lives. A soft smile to a stranger, a quiet moment of patience with oneself, a willingness to notice instead of judge. These are seeds. They are not big, dramatic acts, but over time, they shift the currents of life. Like a river, even small stones in the stream create ripples that spread farther than we can see. Or picture someone who has grown up with ease. Maybe things have always seemed to come naturally. Friends, comfort, opportunity. It might feel like life is theirs for the taking, but even then, the seeds they plant matter. A moment of humility, a choice to listen rather than speak, a kind gesture when no one is watching. These acts build a foundation of a life that's strong, gentle, and awake. Karma isn't punishment. It's not about good or bad. It's the quiet unfolding of cause and effect, flowing through every choice, every breath. And maybe this is where we start to see something tender. Even if the past shapes us, it doesn't define us. Even if old patterns rise up, we can respond differently. We can choose what seeds to water. We can plant something new. And that quietly is freedom. It's not loud, it's not sudden. It's a soft, persistent unfolding. It's the awareness that this moment, right here, holds the power to shape the next. So maybe you can sit with that for a while. Let yourself feel that even small acts matter. Even gentle intentions can grow into something significant. And if you like these quiet reflections, if you want a gentle reminder to return to this space, subscribing is a soft invitation, not a change overnight, not to force answers, but to come back, breathe, and notice. Because each moment you choose, each seed you plant, slowly builds a story of your life. And maybe, just maybe, the life of those around you too. Maybe you've noticed how life often feels like a mix. Joy and struggle, ease and challenge, moment of clarity and moments of confusion. And sometimes it seems unfair. Why do some people seem to flow effortlessly while others struggle so much? The Buddha would say gently, it's not about luck or punishment. Life is shaped by patterns of action, by seeds planted long ago, some in this life, some before. And the beautiful, quiet truth is this. Even if the past is invisible, even if we don't remember, the present moment always offers a chance to plant new seeds, to water what matters, to gently steer the current of our lives. Think about it in a simple, everyday way. A man who has faced failure or hardship might carry fear, self-doubt, or habits that seem unshakable. But in a single soft moment, he can pause, he can breathe, he can choose to respond with care instead of reactivity. That small choice, seemingly invisible, sets a ripple in motion. It might affect how he speaks to his child, how he treats a coworker, or how he views himself. Over time, these gentle ripples shift the current life, slowly, quietly, without fanfare. Or imagine a woman born with comfort and ease, who has always received the benefits of circumstance. She might think life is easy, that nothing she does will matter. But even she carries choices, the chance to be patient, to be generous, to be aware. Every soft act of kindness, every quiet moment of self-reflection is a seed that grows. Karma is not about reward or punishment. It's about the unfolding of cause and effect, gently and persistently, through every thought, word, and action. And here's the tenderest part. Even in the hardest moments, freedom lives. You're not trapped by patterns, even if they feel heavy. You are the gardener now. Every choice, even small and subtle, matters. It may not change everything overnight, but it nudges a river, shifts the current, plants seeds that will blossom in ways you cannot yet see. Maybe that's a secret the Buddha offered. Life isn't something done to us. Life is something we participate in. And participation is a quiet, soft power, the power to notice, to care, to choose, and to plant. So perhaps you can sit with that for a while. Let the thought sink in that every breath, every word, every act, even the ones you think are too small, matters. And if this gentle reflection resonates with you, subscribing is a quiet way to return, to keep coming back to this space, to give yourself a moment to notice and breathe, and to remember that even in the ordinary, the sacred is quietly unfolding. Maybe you felt it before, the quiet question that drifts in when the day is still. What is all this for? This body, this life, with its struggles, its fleeting joys, its ordinary moments. Does it have a purpose, or are we just moving from one moment to the next, carried by causes we cannot see? And it's okay to wonder. That's exactly where the Buddha's teachings begin, not with answers written in stone, but with an invitation. to notice, to feel, to participate in life with awareness. He would remind us that human life is rare, not like winning a lottery, but rare in the sense that it's balanced. We are not completely lost in instinct, like animals. We are not overwhelmed by bliss or suffering, like beings in other realms. We are in a middle space, a space soft enough to feel, aware enough to reflect. And it is here, in this gentle, fragile place, that transformation becomes possible. We can notice suffering and its causes. We can choose. We can grow. That is what gives life its true value. Not wealth, not status, not intelligence, but the chance to awaken, to free the heart from fear, craving, and confusion. Imagine a simple story. A young man wakes up early to the sound of birds. He notices a neighbor struggling with groceries and offers help quietly, without expectation. That single act may seem small, almost invisible, but it plants a seed, not for recognition, not for reward, but simply because it's the right thing to do. And over time, even the smallest seeds grow. Compassion, patience, understanding. They ripple out, touching moments and people in ways you may never see. That's the soft power choice of karma in motion. And perhaps the most tender insight is this. Even if the past is heavy, even if we carry patterns we don't fully understand, freedom lives here, now. You are not trapped by your history, nor defined solely by past actions. You are the gardener, the gentle weaver, the one tending the seeds that matter. Each breath, each soft intention, each kind word shapes the future quietly, persistently. Life is not something done to you. It is something you participate in moment by moment. So maybe you can sit with that thought. Let yourself feel it softly, like a gentle wind brushing your face. And if this quiet reflection speaks to you, subscribing is just a gentle way to return, to pause, to breathe, to notice, to remember that even in the smallest acts, the softest intentions, freedom begins, and life, quietly, continues to unfold in its mysterious, beautiful way. Maybe you notice by now that life isn't just a series of random events, and you aren't simply drifting along without purpose. Even if the past carries patterns you don't remember, even if old habits rise up like shadows, there is a soft, persistent freedom alive in this very moment. The Buddha would whisper that you are the owner of your actions, the heir of your choices, not in a harsh, judgmental way, but as a tender truth. Every thought, every word, every small act matters. Each one is a seed, quietly shaping the stream of your life and the lives of those around you. Imagine a simple morning. A woman notices a stranger struggling with a heavy bag. She pauses. She offers help. It may feel tiny, almost invisible, but it plants a seed of kindness, rippling outwards in ways she cannot see. Or a man, carrying fear and frustration, chooses to breathe before reacting, noticing his irritation without acting on it. That small pause plants a seed of patience, of calm, that might influence his next words, his next interactions, even the way he sees himself. These quiet acts are where freedom lives, not as a sudden release, but as a gentle, steady shaping of life. And perhaps the softest, most comforting insight is this. Your life, this body, your story, is not a punishment. It is not luck. It is a rare chance to participate in something beautiful, the unfolding of awareness, compassion, and choice. Your past may whisper to you. Your tendencies may nudge you, but you always have this moment to plant something new. You are the gardener now, tending the seeds of your heart, mind, and actions quietly, persistently. So if you ever whisper to yourself, "Why was I born like this?" Perhaps the answer is not about blame or luck, but about understanding. You are here now with the chance to notice, to act gently, to create. Life is a flow, and you are part of it. Every kind word, every patient breath, every gentle intention matters. Even the smallest act can ripple outward in ways unseen, slowly shaping a future that is brighter, softer, freer. And if these reflections speak to you, subscribing is a gentle way to return, to pause, to breathe, and to remember that the quiet power choice is always yours. Because in the end, life isn't something that happens to you. It's something you participate in. And from that, everything can change.